Collective, good morning, and thank you for joining me for 9 a.m. Hatha Yoga. Today we are going to be working with extension of spine, which is essentially elongating the spine within its natural curves. And we'll move gently towards some mild back bends as well, which can be really lovely for helping to kind of stretch and open the chest and the anterior shoulder area. And energetically, I love to overlay awareness as we're thinking about getting longer and getting taller and a little more open, of thinking about the navel and the heart and then the head and the relationship between those three. So subtly, we'll cultivate awareness of alignment of the navel, which is sort of our center of intuition and felt sense in the body. And then the heart center, the chest, the shoulder girdle, which is our center for will. Actually, the yoga tradition says that our willpower is at the heart center. And then our intellect, which would be kind of midbrain focus. So very often as we just kind of habitually settle into a seat or a posture, we might have a forward head posture like so, or we might tend to round the front body off and let the shoulders close in. So today, let's bring a little more awareness to that as we find our seat. So settle into a seat that is steady and comfortable for you. And allow your eyes to close or rest your gaze gently downward. And just rock a little bit forward of your sit bones. Let the shoulders come a little forward of the hips. And then rock a little bit back toward your tailbone and let the shoulders round in. And then come back forward again and see if you can find a neutral place between those opposite alignments. Settle a little more firmly into the rooting of your sit bones to the surface beneath you. Nice, and from that steadiness of the seat, feel the spine growing tall out of the center of the pelvis. Allow the shoulders to align over the hips. Mildly lengthen the sides of the neck by tilting the chin slightly down and lifting the center of the chest toward the chin. And notice that an easefulness, a sense of non-effort arises when the bones are aligned in this way. The muscles know how to respond and support. And take a moment now to find your breath. And we'll take several rounds of breath, aware of the expansion and the narrowing of the belly and the low waist. So if you're quite tuned into this movement of the belly, the side body, the back body, just feel into it. If it would feel grounding or give you some extra awareness today, you could bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the low back ribs and invite the body to expand into the touch of the hands with each inhale and to move towards center with each exhale. We'll take 3 more breaths just like this, long and smooth and continuous, aware of the movement of the belly. And then allow your awareness to rise up to the center of the chest. And we'll take several rounds of breath with awareness there. Feeling the inhale rise from the navel up to the center of the chest. And as you exhale, feel a little bit lighter through the chest, a little bit broader through the collarbones. A little bit softer through the tops of the shoulders. Inhaling navel up to heart center. Exhaling a little lighter, a little more open, a little softer through the shoulders and chest. And we'll take 3 more rounds of breath with awareness at midbrain this time. So feeling the inhale rise from navel up to heart. And then as you exhale, imagine energy rising from the heart center right up through the midbrain and out through the crown of the head. Just bringing some pranic awareness to the midbrain center. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, prana rising, center of the chest, midbrain, crown of the head. Lovely. We'll take one more round of breath to set in this intention of aligning the navel, the heart, the midbrain, our sense of intuition, will, and intellect. Let's go ahead now and transition down to lying on the mat. So you can come right down to lying on your back, please. And we can have the knees bent here, soles of the feet on the floor, knees pointing up to the ceiling. And the heels will be about sit bones width distance apart here. So make sure you've got some space to reach beyond the crown of the head. And we'll continue to work with this breath awareness at the navel and the heart, and then awareness of the pranic pathway of the exhale moving from the center of the chest upward. So tilt the tailbone a little bit toward the space between your heels. Feel more of the small of your back settle toward the floor. And then as we inhale, reach the arms in parallel tracks, fill navel to heart. And then as you exhale, let energy move from the center of the chest upward. Inhale, reach and expand and really stretch through the side body. And then exhale, invite softness into the shoulders, the face, the crown of the head. And we'll do 4 more rounds like this, please. Lengthen the inner elbows. Feel the shoulder blades wrapping toward the front body as the arms pass overhead. And then let the chest broaden, let the upper arm bones settle down and be heavy as you breathe out. This next time as you reach the arms, we can keep the fingertips apart or we can interlace the hands and press through the heels of the hands. I'm going to keep my hands apart today because that's working better in my body. And find another breath in. And then as you exhale, rock onto your right heel and slide the leg long on the mat. Very deliberately, very slowly. Stretch through the inner right ankle. Let the top of the right thigh bone settle down toward the floor. And then as you inhale again, reach long, and exhale, hug that right knee into your chest. Press the breath out of the body. And we'll release the foot back down to the floor, release the arms to your sides. And then inhale, reach the arms overhead, stretch super long. Exhale, come onto the left heel, slide the leg long on the mat. Find another breath and reach from the heel to the fingertips. And then exhale, hug the left knee in toward the chest, press the breath out of the body, and release that left foot down. Good. So we'll stretch both legs out long on the mat this time. And then again, reach the arms overhead. Option to interlace the fingers or not, and then stretch the heels of the hands away from the heels of the feet. Inhale long through the sides of the body. Exhale, pull the ribs in towards center. One more breath like that. Navel and heart and head. And then we'll release the hands down and bring your right foot in again. Knee points up to the ceiling, and your heel is about as wide as your sit bone here. Find an inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to open the right knee out to the side like a tree pose. And then we'll inhale, come back to center. I'm sorry, let's change up that breath actually. So we'll have this be our exhale. And then inhale, roll to the outer edge of the foot, stretch the inseam of the leg. And then exhale, rock the sole of the foot back to the floor. And let's find that 3 more times. Left hand is helping that left thigh bone be our anchor. Good, and we'll slide the right leg long on the floor, bring the left knee in, and same thing, use the right hand to keep the right thigh and hip steady. And then as we inhale, roll to the outer edge of the left foot and stretch the inner thigh. And then exhale, come back to center. And 4 more rounds on this side. We'll bring the right foot in to meet the left, and then lengthen the tailbone again toward the space between the heels. And from here, take a second to shrug your shoulders up a little bit towards your ears. Bend your elbows, fingertips to the ceiling, and push the upper arm bones down to the ground. Notice how that lets you lift the chest a little bit. So from there, you're hugging the shoulder blades in toward each other around the back. Yep, chin toward chest, chest toward chin. And then release the hands down to the mat again. As we inhale, we'll press into the inner edges of the feet and lift the low back. Belly and glutes are active here. And then we'll exhale, release the mid back and the upper back down to the floor. And we'll do that 4 more times. Inhale, lifting into a baby bridge. Breath fills the navel and the heart. Exhale, feel that grounding and opening through the shoulders. These next 2 breaths, let the breath lift you just as much as the muscles. Good, and then heel toe the feet as wide apart as your mat. Let the toes turn in relative to the heels. The knees rest on each other. Hands come one to the belly, one to the heart. One full breath in and out to navel center. One full breath in and out to heart center. One full breath in, navel, heart, midbrain, and let the whole face soften as you exhale. All right, so heel toe the feet back in and roll over to your right side, and we'll make our way up to tabletop pose now. So let's come around to hands and knees. Wrists are a little forward of the shoulders. Hips are right over the knees here, and we're drawing the low belly in. As we inhale, we'll stretch the front body into cow pose with broad collarbones and broad sit bones. And then as we exhale, navel pulls toward the spine, and we stretch the space between the shoulder blades. Inhale, rock the pelvis forward, lift the chest. Exhale, inner thighs are active, belly pulls in, back body stretches. 3 more times like that, moving from your cow pose to your cat pose. Let's inhale back to a neutral tabletop this time, and then exhale back to active child's pose. So we're tenting the fingertips, we're lifting the heels of the hands away from the floor. We're wrapping the inner edges of the forearms down toward the mat. We're hugging the triceps in closer to the ears. 2 more breaths here, super long through the side body. With each exhale, letting back body rest toward front body. And then slowly come back up through your cat spine all the way to tabletop pose. Tuck the toes under now. Inhale. Exhale, lift the hips, stretch out, downward facing dog. Long spine here. And then take the left leg up behind us today. Keep stretching long through your outseam of your right leg. And then bend that left knee and open the knee up toward the ceiling. Good. Try not to collapse the right side of the body as you do this. Keep a long line from the right armpit to the top of the right thigh. And then bring that leg up again and release the foot down to the floor. Good. Find a little more length through the side body and then take that right leg up. Spin the outer edge of the foot toward the ceiling. Stretch long through that left sit bone. And then as you exhale, bend the knee. Spin the knee toward the ceiling. And then take the leg straight again and release the foot down. And then we'll walk the feet forward to meet the hands and fold forward here. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Nothing too deep, just feel how the hamstrings are feeling this morning. Rock a little bit on the soles of the feet. Let the head hang. And then soften the knees, bring the hands to the hips. And use those strong legs as you come back up to stand. Mountain pose here, good. Let's bring the hands to the hips. We're gonna step the right foot back and then hands to blocks or just release the knee right down to the floor for a knee down lunge here. So left knee is approximately over the ankle. Right hip is over the knee. We're gonna inhale, bring the arms forward, and then exhale, sweep the arms out to the sides. And let's do this 4 more times, aware of that line from navel to heart to midbrain as we move. So we're not jutting the chin forward, and we're trying not to round through the shoulders. We're going to sweep the arms forward again, and this time cross the right arm on top of the left. And a couple of options for shoulders today. You can let your fingertips rest on the shoulders, or we can bring the backs of the hands to touch, or you might have space to cross again at the wrist and bring the palms of the hands to touch as well. Let's find an inhale and stretch from the navel to the heart. Lift the elbows toward the ceiling. Broaden the collarbones. And then as we exhale, move from the low belly first. Pull the low belly in, and then let the shoulders round. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, stretch from the front of the right thigh all the way up through the center of the chest. Reach through the fingertips. And then moving from the low belly, start to round in. And we'll let the hands come down to the floor now. You can stay aligned as you are. I'm just going to switch around for the purposes of demonstrating. Good. So we're going to walk the hands up to the left knee. And now we're just going to spin the torso away from that left knee. So the inner left thigh stays long, the belly spins away from the knee. We're gonna find an inhale here, tall spine. And then as we exhale, we're gonna lunge a little bit more into that forward knee. Just let gravity take your pelvis here. And then we'll come back up to tall spine as you breathe in. And lunge a little more into the knee as you breathe out. We'll do this for 3 more rounds. This is a movement that can help connect us more to navel center, to that sense of intuition, gut feelings, just kind of freeing up this whole space. Let it be soft. Breathe into the stuck spots, the resistance. Okay, and then let your hands come down to the floor from there. We'll tuck those right toes under and lift the knee, and then step back to downward facing dog. We'll walk the feet forward to meet the hands and fold forward again, Uttanasana. And then inhale just up to half lift. Exhale, plant the hands on the floor or on blocks. And we'll step the left knee back, left foot back this time and release the knee down. And then take your time, walk the hands up to that right knee. So right knee is above or a little behind the ankle. Left hip is over the knee. And then same thing, just some big sun breaths here. We'll inhale the arms forward and up, aware of this path from the navel to the heart. And then exhale, float the arms out to the sides. 4 more like that. Move within a comfortable range for your shoulders. We'll take the arms forward again. This time, left arm crossing on top of the right. Fingertips hug the shoulders, or we cross the backs of the hands to touch, or cross the wrists and bring the palms together. And take a moment to find which variation of the arms is most useful to you today. And then as we inhale, we lift the chest, lift the elbows, and then exhale, moving from the belly first. Round and draw in. 4 more times at your pace. Lengthen the front body as you breathe in without collapsing the low back. Exhale, navel to spine. Draw in. Then we'll let the hands come down to the floor from there. Slide that left knee back a little bit behind the hip, and then walk the hands up again to the knee. And then we're spinning. My knee's a little sensitive today, so you might want to fold in the side of your mat, or you can put a blanket under that left knee if it bothers you here. Sorry, I missed that on the first side. We're going to spin the navel away from the right knee, stretch long through the right thigh, and then we're just going to glide. Let the pelvis kind of descend toward the floor as you breathe out. And then bring the hips under the shoulders as you breathe in. Navel, heart, head, all connected here. One more time. And then we'll go ahead and bring the hands down to frame that front foot again. Tuck the left toes under and lift the knee, and then step back, downward facing dog. We'll inhale, come forward to plank pose here, and then release the knees down to the floor. Push the floor away, find some fullness between the shoulder blades. Inhale here, and then as you exhale, bend the elbows straight back. Let the shoulders come forward towards your fingertips. Pause. Inhale again. Exhale, let the hips come down. Untuck the toes and kiss the forehead down to the floor. Plug the tops of the feet and the pelvis down to the mat. And then as we inhale, let's rise from the navel to the heart, to the head, cobra pose. Exhale, release back down. 4 more rounds here, just like you did in your bridge pose. Let the breath work in partnership with the body to lift and lower. Navel, heart, head. Good. This next time as you lower down, we'll stack the palms. Let your forehead rest or turn your head to one side. And then bend the knees and just windshield wiper the legs from side to side here. Feeling a little massage for the front body. Feeling the movement of the thigh bones within the hips. Good, and then we'll gather the hands underneath the shoulders and press up to tabletop pose. Now, if you have a block or blanket or pillow, we'll use that for our next shape. So we're going to take that lift, whichever prop that you have, over to the left side of your mat, maybe a quarter of the way back on your mat. And then we'll come back to our lunge with the left foot forward. Let's heel toe the left foot over toward the right wrist. And then we'll open that knee out to the side. Good. And then from there, we're going to sit right down onto the lift for pigeon pose. Tuck those right toes underneath behind you to start and roll the inner right thigh down toward the mat. Good. So we want to think about a string lifting the inner right thigh up to the ceiling here. Lovely. Now here you might have your hands on blocks out in front of you. You might have your fingertips on the floor. We're going to take a slightly longer hold here in this pigeon variation. So find a place that feels sustainable for you, meaning there is maybe the awareness of effort or stretch in the body, but there isn't strain or pain. And there is smoothness in the breath. If having the wrist forward of the shoulders is feeling okay for you, you could explore walking the hands to the thigh bone and the shin bone. If that's feeling okay for you, you could explore bringing one or both arms overhead. So anywhere on the spectrum, and then we're staying aware of the inhale, the navel and the heart, lighter through the chest, open through the mind as we breathe out. Inhale, navel to heart. Exhale, open. So your open heart, your open mind are for you. To be open to your own infinite potential. Let's take our time from there to bring the hands back down to the blocks or the fingertips to the floor. We're going to slide the blocks forward, maybe about 4 inches, and then pause. So we're not coming right into a forward bend, but we're letting the spine stay a little bit long here. Take 2 breaths into the low back. And then we'll let the blocks slide a little further or walk the fingertips a little further. And then use the next several rounds of breath to move toward this sleeping pigeon variation. So maybe your forehead comes down to rest on your block. Maybe you've got your elbows propped here. And then once you've found your expression of this shape, we'll stay. 3 more breaths, feeling the breath expand the back body. Let the elbows come forward of the shoulders so the thoracic spine can really deepen into the body and rest. And then gather the hands under the shoulders again and do push up to come back upright. Tuck those right toes under, plant the hands, and we'll slide that left leg back either to tabletop or to down dog. Stretch out in a neutral place. And then bring the knees down to the floor. And we'll just take a few hip circles here before we do the second side. So as you inhale, find tall spine. As you exhale, let the hips come over to the right heel. And then sweep over to the left and inhale up on the other side. And then exhale over to the left. Inhale, come up on the right. Just do that once more in each direction. Okay, and then we'll do pigeon on the second side. So you'll bring your block or your blanket or your pillow over to the right side of your mat. And then the right foot comes up between the hands and lunge. Heel toe the right foot over towards your left wrist. And now keep the pinky toe edge of that right foot really grounding as you roll the right knee out to the side. We'll slide the prop underneath that right sit bone. And then again, keep the left toes tucking under to start. Roll the inner left thigh down toward the mat. And then work toward a variation of the back bend that's sustainable for several rounds of breath. So remember, on the first side, we started with the hands out forward of the shoulders. And as we breathe in, we're kind of stretching from the center of the pelvis to the navel, and then from the navel to the center of the chest. And maybe this is your back bend. If it's available, you might tent the fingertips on the floor at the short edge of your mat. Draw the upper arm bones up and back. You might walk the hands into the thigh and the shin and push away and lift. Maybe one or both arms reaches overhead here. So remember that advanced pose is the one that is steady and comfortable for you. That is pranically contained. There is a balance of effort and ease. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. Of course, come out sooner if your body says so. Feel the energy from navel to heart and from heart upward. intuition, will, and intellect aligned. We'll take our time now to use an exhale to bring those hands forward again, tented fingertips to the mat or hands to the blocks. And just find a long spine here first. Draw the low belly in. And then with each breath out, maybe there's space to stretch the ribs a little closer to the shin, to slide the hands a little forward on the mat. And finding the variation that works for you today. And then stay. Elbows forward of the shoulders wherever you are. This is the space to listen in. What's going on in the gut? What's present in the heart? What functions are operating in the mind? Let's begin to bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. And then again, push up to bring the shoulders back upright. And then tuck those back toes under, and then either bring that right knee back for tabletop pose or stretch out again in downward facing dog. Whichever shape calls to you here. And then we'll release the knees down to the floor. And let's come all the way down to sitting on the mat now. We'll bring your lift underneath your seat if you have one available to you. And stretch both legs out to the front of the room. Let your hands come to rest alongside your hips, or maybe a little back behind the body. Just using the arms as levers here to let the spine be upright. And follow the breath, follow the energy in this track again, from navel to heart and upward. And let's fold the left knee in toward the chest and then step the left foot over the right leg. You can stay just like this with the right toes pointing up to the ceiling, or you can rock onto your right hip and swing the left heel outside the sit bone. And then bring your right hand to your right knee. Prop your left hand on the floor or a block behind you. And again, stretch tall through the front body. And as you exhale, turn from the navel and then into the shoulders. With each breath out, draw the shoulder blades closer to each other on the back. 3 breaths here. Inhale, connecting navel and heart and midbrain. Exhale, softening the face and the shoulders. And then take your time to unwind back to center. We'll stretch both legs out. And then fold the right knee in and step across the left leg. Again, you can stay here or rock onto your left sit bone and swing the right heel out, left heel outside the right sit bone. Right hand comes to the floor behind you, left hand rests on the knee. Inhale, moving front body to back body. and back body to front body. And then exhale, twist from the navel into the rib cage and finally into the shoulders. And then we'll stay here, navel and heart and head aligned. Let's unwind our way back to center. We'll stretch both legs out again. But coming onto the heels here and take the heels a little wider than the sit bones. Hands can support behind you to keep the chest open. And then we're just gonna rock the thigh bones from side to side. Deliberately rolling on the heels. Deliberately moving the thigh bones within the hip sockets. Good. And then go ahead and make your way down to lying on your back. Feel free to take a moment to arrange your environment or put on some layers that keep you cozy here. Set up some props that bring you comfort. And as you lie down, just take one moment to hug the knees into the chest. And then we'll go ahead and release the legs down to the floor for Shavasana. Letting the feet splay out to the sides, letting your arms rest comfortably. And for just the first few rounds of breath, stay with this intention of building this alignment, this communication from the gut to the heart to the midbrain. Each inhale rising up the front of the spine. Each exhale softening the chest, the face, the crown of the head. And let yourself release completely now to the ease that presents when this alignment and integration is possible. Gradually now begin to deepen your inhales and lengthen your exhales. Inviting movement slowly back into fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, arms and legs. And letting those movements grow in a way that feels natural to you. Maybe rolling your head gently from side to side or reaching the arms in a full body stretch. And then take your time to fold your knees in toward your chest and roll off to your right side. And take your time from there to press both hands into the floor. And bring yourself back up to a comfortable seat for meditation. As you arrange yourself once again into a seat that is steady and comfortable, feel this alignment of the shoulders over the hips, of the head resting gently atop the spine. Find any little movements that bring more ease and relaxed presence to this shape. And then, as we did at the beginning of class, let your awareness move down to the navel center. Let it rest anywhere in the space from where the ribs meet at the front of the body, all the way down to the center of the pelvis. And feel the breath expand this space for 3 rounds. Easeful inhales, complete exhales. Glide your awareness up now to the center of the chest. 3 breaths here. Gently expansive inhale, releasing and softening with the exhale. And now begin to visualize each breath in rising as light from the navel to the heart. Pause that breath in, and as you exhale, see the light of the heart illuminate the mind. Inhaling, light rises from navel to heart. Pause that breath in, and as you breathe out, let the light of the heart illuminate the mind. this movement of prana, this movement of awareness, building connection and communication between the felt sense, the intuition of the gut, the will and compassion of the heart, and the discerning intellect. Gently releasing the technique now. Continue to sit tall with awareness inward. We'll turn the palms to face up and bring the hands together in front of the heart. Another full breath in and out to the belly. Strong intuition. Another full breath in and out to the heart. Will and compassion. Breath in and out to the midbrain. Calm, clear, tranquil mind. Discerning intellect. With the hands together here at heart center, pause to acknowledge the connection between who you are at heart center and how you offer yourself in the world. Jai Ma. Namaste.